Greetings and welcome back to another mental health mini with me. I had a workshop a few days ago and I talked about some pretty cool neuroscience findings that I've stumbled across in my research. And I thought maybe those of you who are on my YouTube would like to know too, because some of this was news to me. And if you've been with me for a while, you know I'm a nerd. So if I'm still finding things out, then maybe I should share it? So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about the reticular activating system. Why is it that our brains are wired towards negativity, i.e., the negativity bias, and what you can do about it? I remember when I took abnormal psychology when I was pursuing my first degree, my undergraduate degree in psychology and sociology. The professor said that there is a 5-to-1 ratio. Basically, if something negative happens in your day, there's a reason why you fixate on it. It actually takes 5 positive things or the reminder of 5 things to be grateful for, or 5 kind things that you can do for yourself to kind of balance that out. I don't know if this sounds familiar to anybody, but this is something that has kind of stuck with me. But I never really researched further. I kind of just took it at that until I found out that there's actually a system in our brain called the RAS, which is the reticular activating system. This changes in nanoseconds and it determines what info should be let into our conscious mind and what info should be blocked from it. So I learned about this on the Mel Robbins podcast, and I really liked the analogy that she had because she always has these fun analogies that make this science like digestible. And so she said if you've ever been to a club, and I used to go to high school nights. There was a high school club here called Rum Jungle. Shout out to anybody who remembers that. It doesn't exist anymore. Anyways, there was a bouncer standing outside. Or, there's some people that aren't going to come in. In my example, it was for high school students. If you were over high school aged, you couldn't come in. And so basically, it determined what comes in and what goes out, right? So similarly, example by Mel Robbins, your RAS is doing the same thing. It is going to allow info that you have told is important to you. So for example, have you ever, fixated on a car that you wanted or an outfit that you wanted or a house that you were looking for, a color that you were really attracted to and noticed that you see it everywhere? That is your RAS working. And the opposite is true. If you're always looking for negativity, you're going to see it, and then your RAS is going to work towards that as well. So essentially, the RAS is going to magnify your mindset towards whatever you're spending your time looking at. So while you're scrolling online, what are you listening to? The music, the media, the content that you're taking in, what kind of concentration on communication are you having? All of this is going to impact your RAS, and then it's going to get programmed to focus on that and filter everything else similar to that bouncer at the club. So that is why if you are so hyper focused on the negative, you have to actually manually remind yourself of positive things that happened that day, positive experiences that happened. So you could do this through gratitude, you could do this through journaling at the end of the day. I do it through both, but basically, you do that to manually remind your RAS about no, it wasn't all negative, it wasn't all a bad day. Here's some positive things. But if you don't do it like that, you're probably just going to focus on that negative. Does that make sense? I hope it does make sense. And if you actually implement this into being mindful about the content you consume, what you surround yourself with, the conversations you partake in, etc., what you're actually doing is called cognitive bias modification. And so you are manually modifying what might be coming naturally to you through the 5-to-1 ratio that I spoke about earlier. And you might be wondering, why do we even have that 5-to-1 ratio? Because back in the day, that 5-to-1 would have actually protected you. So, another example that Mel Robbins talks about is, if you see a snake around a leaf outside as you're taking a walk, you're probably going to be more focused on the snake than the leaf because that is your safety, right? You're going to be more focused on being safe and getting out of there. And I'm a snake enthusiast, so even I would be focused on, okay, I love you, snake, but please don't sting me, please don't bite me, please don't attack me. So that is why the 5-to-1 ratio is there. It's there for survival, it's important, but we can modify it. So I hope this little mental health mini was helpful. Let me know what you think. Thank you for the support. Talk again soon. Bye. Oh, and one more thing. How you feel about this candid video ASMR and the voiceover? Let me know.